Hello and welcome to the announcement of our fall season, Fall Favorites. We're going to do something a little different today for our announcement because even we don't know what movies we're picking exactly. To explain. So Brian pitched this idea for a season, which was each of us picks two movies from our favorites lists from, our episodes that we've done of our top 10 of the 80s and 70s and 90s and etc. So each of us has picked two movies off of those lists that we haven't talked about as a podcast yet to be the things that we talk about this season. We chose one of them each together. So I know one of Brian's, I know one of Trisha's, I know one of Alex's, but the other one is a secret. So each of us got to pick in secret what the other movie is. So now we're going to go around and find out what movies we're going to be talking about for this Fall Favorites season. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're going to go around and also kind of explain a little bit why we're choosing these movies. So the movie that I chose, you guys already know about, is American Beauty. So American Beauty is one of my favorite movies. It's one of the reasons I started to look at film as film and not appreciate a film versus a movie. The cinematography, the performances, the writing, the music, just all of it is so excellent. And there's so many lessons to extract from it. There's a reason why it was one of the first videos I made on lessons from the screenplay. So we're going to talk about American Beauty. We're also going to talk about LA Confidential.
Nice.
Yes!
Which is such a fun movie. It kind of solidified my love for 40s noir detective things. I'd always heard about it as a kid and then saw it in college, and I was like, this movie is amazing. It's so twisty. It has such a sense of place and tone. You feel like you're just living in this world for the duration of the movie. I haven't seen it in many years, so I'm curious to see how it holds up, but also just to take an analytical eye to it, because I've never really done that. So I'm very excited to revisit LA Confidential this fall season.
I haven't seen it in so long, Barry. I'm looking forward to
great choice.
I have never seen it.
Yes.
So, yeah, first time
You're welcome.
All right.
I'm excited. I hear everybody is in it.
Everybody's in it.
Yep.
Totally.
That's kind of crazy. Okay. Brian, why don't you tell us what movies we're watching this fall season?
I shall. So for my public choice, I went with Mulholland Drive. Alex, I think you took my number one choice. So, but I'm very happy to do that. I kind of figured that Mulholland Drive and you're right, exactly. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about Mulholland Drive, but I'm more excited to talk about David Lynch and my relationship with David Lynch and what I think. We're recording this right before we talk about Garden State, movies that almost their main goal is to do a thing to you rather than be the best, tightest script in the world or whatever. Is just there's some emotional, there's some vibe, there's some thing that film can do that we don't talk about a lot when we talk about screenwriting. So I'm really excited to get into that. But yeah, it was the first Lynch movie I was able to see in the theater. And I went more than once. I'll tell that. I think I've told that story before, but I'll tell it in full when we talk about the movie. And yeah, Mulholland Drive coming up, and I'm sure everyone's excited about watching that.
I have never seen it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
It's a lot like having seen
Isn't it though?
Naomi Watts, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about her performance in this movie, which is was very interesting to see in the theater for the first time without having ever seen her as an actor before, and to realize over the course of the movie what she is doing with her performance. Speaking of movies that you guys may not be watching on your own, everyone realized as we were looking at our choices that my favorite movie of all time, Labyrinth, it was on the top of my 80s list because it's my favorite of all time. So I'm guessing that's what you guys think I'm going to choose. Yeah, it's Labyrinth.
What a journey.
All right.
I had to sit through
All right.
your favorite movies like Jurassic Park and Star Wars, these like weird, art house movies. So it's my turn now, baby. And yeah, this is a very strange, goofy movie. Most of the cast is Muppets. It was written by a python. It was directed by Jim Henson, produced by George Lucas. David Bowie is in it. Like it's all the reasons to or not to like the movie, depending on your tastes. But the thing that I really find interesting about this movie, which we'll get into, is there is a really fascinating thematic thing going on in this movie, part of which is hidden in set dressing. And I'll explain what that means, but it's sort of like the deeper kind of thing going on in this movie is not evidently clear the first time you watch it. And I think that's why it's a movie that I have nostalgia for. It's a movie that I find really entertaining, and it does kind of the vibes thing at a certain point where I just feel like I'm actually like emotionally into the movie. But also it's doing an interesting allegory parable thing that I do find really fascinating, and I like how subtle it is. We'll get into it. Labyrinth.
Okay. The time has come. Alex, why don't you tell us what else we're watching in our fall favorite season?
So yeah, the public pick that y'all know about that I was saying, Brian and I are almost sharing is Being John Malkovich. That is just, it's the original Charlie Kaufman, Spike Jonze collaboration, which is some just amazing magic happens there, as we saw with adaptation as well. It's one of those movies that, when I watched it maybe in college, it just showed me, wow, you can do this and kind of pull it off and get it like, it'd be so totally bizarre and wacky, and you get at these like very real, strange human emotions and emotional truths through it all. So I love this movie. It just so goes for its premise in an amazing way, and I just can't wait to rewatch it and talk about it with you guys. So yeah, Being John Malkovich. For my secret pick, I went back and forth with Vince on a couple different options, but my heart was always with Mrs. Doubtfire. So we are watching Mrs. Doubtfire.
Wow.
I really love this movie. It came out in 1993. It's a Chris Columbus movie with Robin Williams, and it's just this classic, heartwarming comedy, but it's just such a perfect role for Robin Williams because he can both do this physical comedy and over-the-top comedy, but also just like break your heart because he has this like, beautiful Robin Williams soul. I think the script is so solid. Anyway, I'm just really excited to watch it again, and it's just I think of back on my just favorite kind of like growing up movies, and Mrs. Doubtfire is genuinely one of them. So very excited to revisit it.
I haven't seen it either.
You haven't
You
seen
have
it?
never seen it?
Well,
I wasn't
you're
allowed
welcome,
to watch
Trisha.
anything as a kid.
Mrs. Doubtfire was the only thing you could
Sally
watch as a
Field,
kid.
GoldenEye era Pierce Brosnan.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
Guys, I know.
I like that, is Alex going to pick Midsummer or
I was
Prisoners?
so scared. I was
Mrs.
so
Doubtfire.
So you go one of two ways. Excellent. Yeah, I've not seen that in probably like 20 years. So I'm excited to go back and watch that. Okay, cool. And to take us home, Trisha, what else are we watching in our fall favorite season?
Guys, what a season this is going to be. So the one you guys know about that we are going to watch together is E.T. And I cannot wait. Michael is going to grit his teeth, I guess, and work through his childhood trauma.
Longtime listeners will know that in addition to It's a Wonderful Life, E.T. is the other make Michael watch this again.
And will strap me to a chair first, and it'll be fine. Yeah.
Long ago, I pitched an ET video for Lessons from the Screenplay in which I wanted to talk about imagery and symbolism because ET is one of the best, in my opinion, at bringing in symbols and using them both in like plot and terms of theme. And I can't wait to get into that aspect of the movie. It's also just such a beautiful film. And we have to talk about the score. We must. So anyway, E.T. is the one that we're going to start off with from my lists. And then the other one was a fairly easy choice for me. I picked Raising Arizona.
Nice.
So I had to have some Coen brothers. It is one of their best comedies, in my opinion. I think it's so funny. I think the performances are iconic. I love the premise. I love the execution. It's really the sweet spot for me of like Coen Brothers movies. I think you guys are going to really like it for those of you that haven't seen it much or haven't seen it at all. So I can't wait to talk about it with you. Yay.
Very exciting.
So that's Labyrinth, Mrs. Doubtfire, Raising Arizona, and LA Confidential.
LA Confidential.
One of these things is not like the others.
Amazing. Okay, well, so now we know what we're talking about in our fall favorites season. So we have to kind of go away and figure out the exact schedule. But what we do know is that the season begins on October 25th with E.T. We're kicking it off with some extraterrestrials there. And then the rest of our schedule, the full schedule, we will post on Twitter and our Patreon pages. So head over to Patreon, follow us there, support us if you want to, or head over to Twitter. Our handle is BT Screenplay, which is annoying to say out loud. So it's the character limits on Twitter that kill you. So head over to Twitter, follow us there. We'll post the whole schedule there. Give it a retweet if you want to help get the word out. And I am excited. This is going to be I think this is going to be a cool, different season. Like there's no new movies. It's all going kind of back to originals and favorites and some foundational things about us, but also film history. It's going to be good. A cozy little fall favorite season here.
There were a lot of cozy choices here.
We're gonna get together with blankets and hot
Sweaters
cocoa.
And yeah, perfect.
So head over to our Patreon and our Twitter to find out the full season, and we will see you very soon for our fall favorites.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.